We have been on YouTube now for almost 6 full years, and in this episode we want to share with you some of the reasons we love being on YouTube
and some of the reasons that we don't like being on YouTube.
In this episode of
Travels with Delaney.
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Patrick.
And I'm Patty.
And this is another one of our monthly collaborations with 5 of our RV YouTube friends, including Brazen Brits, Happy Place Diaries, Travels Abound, Tree Talker the Traveler, and Wayward Wags. When we get to the end of this video, Pat is going to pop a playlist of all of their videos so you can take a look at them and find out what they like about being YouTubers and maybe what they don't like. So Patty, let's go ahead and start with some of the reasons we like being on YouTube.
Well, Patrick, the first thing that I can think of that I really enjoyed about being a YouTuber is all the community that we built, the friends that we have across the country from coast to coast. It's just phenomenal to me to think I have a friend in Maine and I have friends in Seattle and Pittsburgh and Texas, and it's just crazy to me to think about that. So I think that's pretty cool.
It really is crazy. You know, sometimes people say, do you get rich on YouTube? Well, we haven't gotten rich, that's for sure, unless you count the number of friends we've made along the way,
absolutely.
And we're some of the richest people. Literally, we couldn't even begin to name names because there's so many of you who have become part of our life, and some of you are like family to us.
Absolutely.
And some of you we don't get to see nearly enough, but don't think that we don't think about you, and you know who you are.
Absolutely. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, and so I have to agree with you, Patty. The community aspect and the friendships along the way, that has been the absolute best part of putting ourselves out on YouTube.
Well, and just thinking back to 6 years ago, all these people that are now my friends, I had no clue who they were 6 years ago.
No.
And now they're someone, you know, we send cards to, we call, we text, we're in communication with on Volley. It's just crazy.
It really is.
We love everybody.
I would say a second thing that I have really enjoyed about YouTube is being able to help other people out.
Yeah, I know. That's cool.
I mean, we make mistakes. We've been RVing now for 18 years, and we've made mistakes along the way. And so what we try to do is I try to share things that might help someone out so that you don't get as frustrated as sometimes I've gotten with RVing.
Right.
And it all really started because I was always going to YouTube to find answers for questions I had. And I thought, how could I give back to the community, the YouTube community? And so we along the way have just made videos on everything from if your furnace isn't working, how you might get it up and running again, to how could you decorate your RV to make it feel more like home. And oh my gosh, the topics just go on and on.
Well, and even like gadgets and gizmos that we found to make our lives easier when we camp. And yeah, it's just crazy. All those things we thought, well, let's share it with you guys.
And whenever I get a comment, an email, or a letter that says, Patrick, thank you so much, your video really helped us out, that to me is the best feeling in the world, to know that I was able to help someone.
Right. It's like me as a teacher when I finally get a note from a child that I wouldn't expect that thanks me for something. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what's cool. Yep. It's cool.
And speaking of helping someone, I would say the third big reason I love being a YouTuber
is the coolest part, I think.
We've been able to help people out financially. We do make some money along the way with YouTube, and we've tried to give back as much as we possibly can. And we've given to some amazing organizations, big and small.
Oh yeah, like Make-A-Wish, DAV, Faith and Support. Some local places and local families that had like fires this past fall.
Lost their home.
They lost their whole home right before Christmas, so we helped them with the GoFundMe for that.
By you watching us and supporting us along the way, it's allowed us to then extend that out to the bigger community, and we're super proud of what we've accomplished in these first 6 years when it comes to charity work. But with good usually comes some negative.
Yeah, unfortunately there's some things that we just don't like about being a YouTuber.
No, and I will say the one thing that I think really bothers me and you the most are the trolls.
Yeah, it's just people that have the need on social media just to be plain old mean.
Yeah.
We don't mind constructive criticism.
Absolutely
That's
not.
different. But when they're being just mean about, like, if my eyebrows are funny or if my hair is crooked or my teeth are sticking out, that's just plain old mean.
Yeah, and hurtful. And unfortunately, all YouTubers typically experience this because sadly, I guess that's the world we live in today.
Well,
where
I guess you're just putting yourself out there, and then I guess even we teach the kids not to do that, but I think it's so easy for them to hide behind an email or a text
screen name, yeah,
and just to be mean that way. It's hard. I guess in my mind, it's harder for them to be mean to your face.
Right.
It's easier to be mean behind your back.
I'm pretty sure some of the nastiest comments I've ever received, the person would never say it directly to my face. But you know, unfortunately, it's just part of the territory. But unfortunately, sometimes it just gets to us.
Well, yeah, because you're tired or you worked so hard. We, did some things. You work hard on something, and then they just want to be mean. It's just like, oh my gosh, why do you have to say that? You know, why?
Yeah.
So.
And then the second thing for me is what we call the algorithms.
And this drives you crazy.
It absolutely does.
You do more with it than I do.
And I think it drives most YouTubers crazy because we work very hard on video. Sometimes a video can take anywhere from a few hours to make up to literally 30 to 40 hours for a single video. And so you put your heart and soul into these, and then only to just not get views. And, and so ultimately, videos are controlled by algorithms that run YouTube. And, we talk about this amongst several of us that are RV YouTube creators, and how sometimes the videos you put the most work into do the worst.
They flop.
And sometimes the ones you just throw together really quickly do really well.
And it's just crazy.
And it drives you nuts.
It does. And you've watched so many other YouTubers. You've watched people that teach about YouTube and the algorithm and trying to figure it out. And I don't think you can figure it out. I think it's just...
No, because it's always changing is the problem. Because
crazy.
YouTube's philosophy is they want to match the right video at the right time in the right place so that you as the viewer get exactly what you want to see. But we know for a fact that that's not always the case, because I've had people reach out and say, Patrick, I subscribe to you, but your videos never pop up.
Right.
And so we want to watch you. And I think that's the part that gets frustrating. We try not to focus on it, but the truth is it's really hard when you are really working hard and trying to put out good content to not see the results. And, and so I think that...
Well, it's like anything. You want to know, like, at least for me, I think of it like a school. The kids want to know how they're going to be graded. We want to know how we're going to be scored. How does this get put out there? What do we have to do? What buttons do we have to do? Like, what boxes do we have to check mark? And you just don't know.
Nope.
So it drives you crazy.
And then I'd say the last thing, we have been doing this for almost 6 years now.
Yeah.
And there has been some fatigue and burnout.
Oh yeah. It gets overwhelming. You get tired like anything. And we've talked about this for, like, golly, even actors and actresses, they take time off.
Right.
And so that's one thing that I know you especially, you're like, well, I'm gonna take some time off at Christmas, and just gotta put it away and just take some time off and try it again in a couple months or whatever. But I think everybody needs time off, because you just get burnout.
And I know we took a couple months off this past winter, and it felt really good, and we've come back fairly strong. But yeah, it's just sometimes you think about it. Most TV shows will film for X number of months and then they're gone. Ted Lasso was gone for what, a year and a half, almost 2 years. But with YouTubers, we are cranking out content almost weekly, and in some cases, some content creators are doing multiple videos per week. And so, yeah, I think the fatigue and the burnout is real, and the longer we go, the more I've felt it. But the good news is, overall, for the last 6 years,
it's been fun.
It's been a super fun experience.
It's been a cool experience that I know on my end, this was your idea, and you're like, come on, babe, let's try this, let's do this. And I'm like, all right. So yeah, it's been a fun adventure. So
I'm going to be curious to find out what our other YouTube friends have to say, are their likes and dislikes about being on YouTube. So Patty, could you go ahead and pop that playlist right there over my face, and go ahead, click on my face, go ahead, check out the playlist.
Want it over here?
No, it's already up there, and find out what our other 5 YouTube friends say. And until next time, everybody, we'll see ya.
On down the road.
Bye. I'm actually waving. You can't see me because the playlist is over my face. Bye.